Hello, my name is Logan, and thank you for watching this quick ORNA demo. Now we're going to recap the platform, what it's all about, as well as the differences between ORNA and other SOAR, so security orchestration automation platforms out there. And we're going to cover a few key features as well as the main flow of the system. Now, as to the differences, ORNA is a SOAR platform, which is again, security orchestration automation platform. But what sets it apart from the majority of platforms out there is that it doesn't just focus on the digital forensics component of things, so not just the technical or IT-driven component of things like the majority systems out there. Through our consulting expertise and the subject matter expertise in digital forensics that we have here at ORNA, we have recognized that cyber incident response and breach response is a much more holistic discipline, and it requires, it has regulatory aspects to it, has communications aspects to it, HR, especially in cases, where insider threat is present, and a lot of other aspects that are non-IT aspects. So effectively, incident response is most certainly not just an IT problem these days, especially if you look at any high-profile breaches. So you're looking at the main dashboard, and you have basically some at-a-glance information here. You have a list of your incidents as well as their stage and the occurrence, as well as their type and who's the cert leader. In this case, it's Martin Gill. You have an incidents by type breakdown, with the main being ransomware, constitutes about 50% of incidents for this organization, which is pretty typical. You have incidents by months as well, and then I have a few tasks assigned here to me. Now, this is a sandbox version, so effectively, a lot of the content is fairly generic. Now, typically, we would customize the content to a particular organization, so it's 100% applicable as part of the implementation procedures. Obviously, we can start with defining the organization's account. In this case, it's Wembley Partners. You can define some assets, company size, which is pretty small, and then the industry in this case is software technology. The second step would be to invite the team members. Let's take a look at my profile, for example. So you can define hours available per month. That's for incident response, set up various notifications, including phone and email notifications, and I do have an admin access as well. Phone number is critical because we do send SMS notifications, and we try to streamline the notification escalation process by collecting contact information of all the team members and keeping them in one place. You also can assign multiple roles, and we have 9 different roles here. Let me just collapse this. Such as a CERT leader, which is obviously a technical role, so CERT, Cyber Incident Response Team Leader. But we also have, again, administrative roles such as HR, Communication Leader, Court CERT member is a technical one as well. But legal counsel, even managed security services, which is typically a third-party company, as well as third-party IT, CEO or a chief operating officer of any kind, CFO, and ORNA generates custom playbooks and tasks and activities for every single one of these roles. Again, not just the digital forensics or the technical roles. You can also import or define your assets. Then we have a variety of asset types, including even a person, for example. And then you can define criticality. You see some at-a-glance stats, such as top 5 most compromised assets here, most compromised asset types, as well as some key asset statistics. You can very easily add new assets through the screen. You select the type, criticality, and you can simply add an asset. Now, assets can be affected by incidents, so it is important to correctly identify the criticality and the type of the asset. Well, needless to say, one of the most important screens is the incident screen. So you can add incidents either manually or through integrations with various security orchestration platforms, CM, intrusion detection systems or prevention systems, or IDS, IPS systems. And essentially, incidents can be created automatically. You can also define one manually through a streamlined 6-step process. The 7th step is a summary. You can see we have a kind of a disclaimer here that we don't have HR, legal counsel, CFO roles assigned to any team members. So auto-generated tasks that ORNA creates for these roles will be unassigned until these positions are filled. So you can select a type. You can also learn more, or we can help you determine the type of an incident just based on a simple assessment like this. You select a few criteria and then you submit them. So in this case, for example, would be ransomware, corresponding to these criteria. You can select when the incident was first identified, Obviously, you cannot select a future date, but let's say it was a couple of days ago. You select the time, you select any affected locations if you'd like. That's optional. You select the assets that have been affected. Again, it could be a person. They're all risk scored and they're categorized based on their criticality. And as you can see, they're color coded as well, from medium to high to critical. You can also manage assets as well. You can edit all of this information later, so you don't have to worry about getting it 100% right on the first go. You select how the incident was reported or detected. You go through a simple incident severity identification process as well. So for example, in this case, let's say the damage caused by the incident only marginally increases over time, and work that cannot be completed by staff is not time sensitive. But then at the same time, perhaps a moderate number of staff are affected and are not able to do their job properly, or perhaps a moderate number of customers are affected, or the damage to the reputation of the business is likely to be moderate as well, right? But in this case, the severity of incident is still low. Or for example, we could go medium, we can go high, right? It can even be critical. So you have to select who will be leading the response effort, which is typically the person who you have the cyber incident response team leader role assigned to. In this case, it's Martin. Now, Martin is definitely overloaded. He has 5 incidents assigned to him. He has 0 hours available this month. So I don't think it's a good idea to assign Martin to this incident. And let's not overload him further. Let's just go to the incident screen, I think. Take a look at the incidents we have. Now, they can all have different types. They can have different severity, and they can be in different stages. And as you can see here, at a glance, you can see affected records as well. You can delete or resolve incidents from the screen, and you can filter them, of course. Well, let's say if we click on this one. Actually, since we've been creating a ransomware incident, let's just take a look at one of those. There you go. All right, so this is the incident details screen. So as you can see, the last change was on November 3rd, a couple of days ago by me. The type is ransomware, severity is high. It was detected by an antivirus, and the affected location is the US West head office. We have a few brief notes here. The incident triage was started within 30 minutes from the antivirus alert time. It was occurred on October 6th, 2021. And we have a number of affected assets, so you can edit all of this information aside from the type. You can also filter the tasks and filter by role. Now, as you can see, we have a number of stages here according to the SANS incident resolution process. We have identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned. Now, ORNA creates custom tasks and attack-specific playbooks for every single one of these stages and for all the roles that we have defined. So here, for example, you can see the task management dashboard. You can assign different individuals as well manually. And all of these tasks are automatically created by ORNA. And again, we've used our consulting and cybersecurity digital forensics subject matter expertise, including legal components and regulatory components and communications components, and of course the technical ones, to create these tasks. Now, the tasks are highly detailed. And again, these are generic, as this is a sandbox instance, but typically we would customize the tasks fully. So we would effectively create a digital incident response plan and playbooks that are specific to a particular organization as part of the implementation effort. But still, even for the generic task, you have a detailed description here. You have specific and particular outcomes. You have artifacts that you can upload and preview. And this is important for reporting purposes as well. You have an assignee, you have a particular task role. Task type is hybrid in this case because it has both technical and administrative components. Complexity is moderate, and this is an identification stage task, and it's done. So you can have task actions here, which are fairly brief for this task. It is a hybrid task. Let's take a look at a more technical task. Let's say this one. So the description is shorter, and there's only one outcome. So to establish and confirm the delivery method, such as, let's say, a drive-by download or an exploit of vulnerability within the systems. So there are multiple ways of confirming that. We provide all kinds of different details, for example, on how to use a threat intelligence platform to take a look at suspicious URLs and hashes, which are called indicators of compromise, and how to verify them. So Virus Total, have Aegis, which is Wembley Partners platform, and Alien Vault and other platforms as well. Now, all of these tasks can be managed, and they can be moved around from not started to in progress to blocked to done. Even will not do stages if they're not applicable, or to failed. And the system is smart enough to determine which stage is the resolution process is in as you progress through these stages. There are also various other helpful features, such as, for example, communication templates. So for communications tasks, occasionally have to issue cyber incident notices to staff or to employees or to customers, supply chain partners. You can also issue a data breach notice to staff or data breach notice to affected individuals. So you can download these templates. You can use these templates to send out these notices. And these have been vetted by the applicable professionals, the communication and legal professionals. And this particular one, for example, is actually based on the government's of Canada recommendations on information to include. Now, ORNA can also automatically generate a PDF or Microsoft Word report for the incident, which is usually a very cumbersome and time-consuming task. It is done based on the information we collect throughout the incident resolution process, when the task was started, when it was completed, which assets were affected, and so on, which individuals were notified. So there you have it. This is a quick overview of the ORNA SOAR, Security Orchestration Automation System. Thank you very much for attending, and take care.